welcome back. So this is Maria. All right, so I want to talk about the United Nations. That's right, the United Nations. The U stands for United and N stands for Nations. The United Nations. So the United Nations is all about an organization headquartered in New York where all these world leaders meet. Sometimes they meet in different places, but they meet to talk about their country and resolve their problems in a civilized manner. Kind of like families when they gather and they talk about their problems and their issues, whatever it is, right? Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's other stuff. So that's what they do, and they work it out, okay? The United Nations, it started in 1945 at the end of World War II. Before that, we had the League of Nations. The League of Nations, correct. Now, the League of Nations was designed by the 28th President Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, the 28th president, right? Think of the movie Castaway with that ball floating in the water and Tom Hanks screaming, Wilson, Wilson! Yes, that was sad. All right, so Woodrow Wilson, the 28th president, designed the League of Nations, and that was for World War I. But then when World War II started, at the end of World War II, leaders started saying, this League of Nations didn't really work out. So the United Nations was formed, the UN. Right? The UN was formed, and we still have it today, and it's a great thing because they work for world peace. That is the goal, to have less conflict. Okay, so let's sing about it. The United Nations, the United Nations, the UN stands for United Nations. In 1945, the UN was formed to work with countries for world peace. The United Nations, the United Nations, the UN stands for United Nations. The UN stands for United Nations. Again. The United Nations, the United Nations, the UN stands for United Nations. I find it funny. In 1945, the UN was formed to work with countries for world peace. The United Nations, the UN stands for United Nations. The UN stands for United Nations. Again. Posture. The United Nations, the United Nations, the UN stands for United Nations. In 1945, the UN was formed to work with countries for world peace. The United Nations, the United Nations, the UN stands for United Nations. The UN stands for United Nations. Hope you enjoyed this class. Remember, in 1945, the 33rd president, Harry Truman, formed the United Nations. Before that, we had the League of Nations by the 28th president, Woodrow Wilson. And then 33rd president, Harry Truman, said, United Nations, yes, we're going to work for world peace. No more wars. All right. Hope you enjoyed this class and hope to see you later.